love film. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I do. It's nice to hear it, though.
So what's up?
What's going down, y'all?
I'm Jared.
I am Josh. It's good to be here.
We're having banana bread from Eagle Brewing Company.
Eagle.
I don't remember who it was. There was some show that somebody with a British accent used to always pronounce banana. I can't not do it anymore.
I understand. It sounds good. Sounds good. Most things, when you put an English accent on it, sound better.
Yeah.
Banana's one of them, so go right ahead, man. That sounds good.
So, I sat down and watched the Oscar show.
Oh, yes. We
evening.
discussed before that we are award show people, so it was like, yeah, man.
It's always been my thing. I don't know why. I must rank my art in order of importance. Wins and losses.
Yeah, I like having a one-loss record.
But it was kind of evident, going through the show with as much stuff as you're checking all the boxes for Parasite this year, and old buddy wins for was it original screenplay?
Yeah.
Original screenplay, international feature, best director. They're seriously going to give them all these awards and not give them Best Picture.
Yeah, Jared. To be fair to the man, he called that out in real time, because it's like original screenplay and best international movie. It's like, okay, cool, that makes sense. But right around the time they got Best Director, he's like, this thing's going to win Best Picture, isn't it? And then he went on to make the point, like, how do you not do it? And I'm like, what? You're right, man. It's a great point.
I just remember that old skit of Chris Farley playing Rob Reiner, like, how's the movie? Get nominated. Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Screenplay. Didn't direct itself.
It didn't direct itself.
He was like the one snub from A Few Good Men. Well, he didn't get nominated. Like, how does that happen? How do you have this many boxes get checked and not give it that? So I was just certain that they were going to go, La La Land on us or something like that. So we're like, no, we swerved you.
Veer.
Swerve, bro.
Bro. Hulk Hogan switched the envelopes.
Yeah. But it all worked out. But honestly, I kind of thought, well, if a movie is nominated for Best Picture and it is a foreign language, foreign feature, well, I don't know what's the appropriate term now, does it exempt it from the other category of international feature? So at least I got that answer, because I kind of waited around to the end of the nominees. Like, oh, there it is. Yeah, and then you see him walking up on stage. Like, well, see, it makes sense.
Yeah,
see?
Man. The man knows. I think we've discussed it on here before too, because this is not our first Oscar rodeo on this here show.
Yeah.
The one award every single year that I always have to see, if I haven't already seen, is Best Original Screenplay. That's the one I like. It's so very often that my favorite movie of the year, of the stuff that's nominated for things, that's always the one that I like the best. It's just, again, whether I see it beforehand or afterwards. Mm-hmm. And I'm kicking myself. I was telling the man I'm kicking myself over Parasite, because I was at my brother's house about a week and a half ago now. And I'm assuming, based off of what I read online, that it was probably Amazon. They've got the hookup with like several different what's the word? Not formats, but platforms. Sorry. Yeah. And I think that was the one that was being advertised for, and I should have watched it, but I know I need to be in a certain mindset to watch that one. So it's like, okay, I'll just save it. But
not only is it a foreign language, the subject matter seems to be hella heavy.
Yeah,
that's you can just sit down, get old Parasite.
Yeah, I was in such a weird. I'm just crazy when I do anything now, and it's hard to explain, but I was just in a really, really weird mood, and it's like, man, if you watch anything like that, it's going to fly all over you, and then you're going to be in, I shouldn't say worse mood, because I wasn't in a bad mood, just a weird one, and it's like, okay, just watch out for yourself. So I watched the Righteous Gemstones instead. It was great. I was telling the man, it's exactly what you expect from the Danny McBride stuff, and that it wasn't what I expected.
Cool.
I mean, parts of it were, but then it's awesome. I thought it was great. But anyway,
the good sign for any movie winning that much stuff is whatever it's on, it'll probably be on even broader.
That's what I was telling the mess.
Yeah.
What made me happy with like best international, I'm like, okay, cool, this helps.
Yeah.
Best original screenplay can help too,
Good
but
sign.
I'm like,
Good
this is
sign.
good because my whole thing is how fast can I get it out of Redbox,
Mhm.
and or I guess I can go and create a new email and get the Amazon hookup.
Yeah.
No reason not to, but anyhow,
Down with that. Down
one
with that.
yeah, one way. Good Lord, I'm sorry, y'all. One way or the other, I'll get that one watched, and it'll be cool. But it's stupid to say this. It's been a long time since I streamed anything on Amazon, and it's probably great. I know Netflix has come a long way as far as this is concerned, but there's something about watching stuff. I like watching stuff in English with subtitles on because I just don't. Normally, I'm watching stuff late at night. If I can keep the volume down, I like to. My neighbors have never complained once, but I don't want them to.
That's
And I'm
good.
good with just having the volume there, so I'm okay with reading stuff, man. But then when it's something that I have to have the subtitles on, this might be nothing. Amazon might have the best ones in the world, but there's something about having the disc in your hand, and when you ask it, these are the subtitles I want, they're going to be on time. It's not going to lag. It's not going to get messed up.
Synced up perfectly.
Yes, it's stupid, but that's why I'm very excited. And basically what I read earlier today is that Redbox kiosk it's not there yet, and there's not a date for it yet. But yet being the optimum word for the exact point that you're making.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, when it wins awards, especially best picture, like, okay, now it's going to be everywhere, and that's excellent.
We had them ready to go in the truck.
Yeah, man, that's excellent. So I'm excited because I wanted to see it. I just need to be in the right mood to see it. I think what I'm going to do is pick me a target date. I'm going to not listen to anything political for a week or 10 days, get that crap out of my system, and then I can get back in there and handle anything.
There weren't. I don't guess there were too many surprises as far as the major categories. I mean, because when it comes to some of the things, it's kind of a crapshoot, luck of the draw kind of thing. But as far as Brad Pitt winning, I wasn't surprised with that.
Yeah. And it was it's something we talked about particularly with, for Pete's sake. I'm sorry. There was one particular nominee. It was Laura Dern winning Best Supporting Actress, which there's nothing in the world wrong with because Laura Dern is a very good actress. It's just that this is nothing against. She was great in that movie.
Yeah.
Everybody was great in that movie, though. But she was really, really good in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that there's
Feels
probably
like-
9 or 10 things that I can think. Maybe not that many, but she's good in everything.
She's been deserving for many years,
absolutely.
and she's never gotten one. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, this is our chance to right that wrong.
I think so too, and that happened. We talked about it with The Departed. It happens a lot because The Departed's a fine movie, but Scorsese deserved one ages before he got one.
Yeah.
And so it's okay. You wind up okay, cool. It might not be the performance that you wish they got it for, but at least they got one.
Yeah.
And it was kind of it's definitely that way with Brad Pitt because Brad Pitt's an incredible actor. But at the same time, I really liked that movie, and I was glad to see it get one of the big ones. They did a good job, I thought, of stretching. We were talking about it where I thought they did a good job of spreading it out and getting lots of things represented. I'm glad that Laura Dern won. I wish that Scarlett Johansson had won. But at the same time, I haven't seen Judy yet. So it's not like Renee is undeserving. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But I thought Scarlett Johansson was very, very, very good in that movie. But all the actors were.
I thought when it comes to the supporting actress category, I thought that was Scarlett Johansson's best chance to win, and I thought that's what they would do. I thought if there was any, and it's not that it would even be a surprise. I thought she would get it for the Jojo Rabbit, so they could say, "Well, we can't bypass Renee for this movie, so you'll get it for this." Because that one to me was the biggest kind of like pick 'em. It's like it's not a clear front runner in any of them, but I think most of the categories in Joaquin winning for the Joker is like they could try to throw a swerve in, but there was no way around him getting that award this year.
Yeah,
So.
you'd have hell trying to justify that one.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
wouldn't get away with it.
Mhm.
I liked his speech. I was telling Jared I thought it was funny that with the SAG Awards, he lulled everybody into a false sense of security because he blistered them all at the Golden Globes and they got mad at him. So then he goes to the SAG Awards and just tells funny stories and pats everybody on the back about, man, good job, that was awesome, it was cool. So then he gets out there today, blisters them again.
Yeah.
And then I was telling the man that lots of people not clapping, lots of people sitting, and that's okay. You don't have to do a standing ovation for everything. But there's an awful lot of people. I would love it if there was a way to get a correlation between all the people that sat in their seats and didn't clap that will at some point over the next week write tweets about, oh, R.I.P. River, that was so touching. And it's like, when he said that in real time, you didn't even catch that that's who he was talking about, did you?
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, wait a second, oh God, let me fix that.
But
So
it kind of shows, I mean, like the correlation to, a wrestling card. It's just
A
like
bill.
a bill. Really, just not really thinking about who could likely win in this category, and who do we want to follow that? Because
Yeah.
you had Joaquin go up there and make his speech, and he kind of does his Joaquin thing, and unfortunately has to be followed by Renee, who's deserving, but kind of got a little long-winded and kind of just like, you talk about a dead crowd. Everybody was just kind of like,
yeah, I mean, she was doing the nice thing of like
Yeah.
checking off people in the production team and the director and the fellow actors, fellow nominees, and nobody. It was crickets, buddy.
Yeah, it's
Nobody was giving her nothing, and it's
Yeah.
like, darn. I don't know if they got scorched by Joaquin or if they're just mad at her about something, but it was like, dang, y'all.
so I think that's always because we know. We've seen this speech and heard this speech several times through this award season. Get it over with.
Yeah, man. I can dig that.
Yeah. So that's, but when it comes to the best director, and for some reason I always thought, okay, it's actors awards, best director, best picture, and they flipped that too this year, and they may have done that because they had the idea of who could win. But leading into the show, and everybody was talking about snubs for this and that and other thing, and everybody was butthurt about it being a field of male directors again. But when you look at who got nominated, it's like, who are you going to take out? It's really, deserving people that got nominated. So I'd say if you can nominate 10 movies, 5 to 10 movies for Best Picture, then why can't you do it in other categories? Just expand the category.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think too, and I think it's one of those things that it gets presented in one way, and I think that the reality of it for most people, for some people it won't be, but for most people the reality is a little bit different. And the example is this: when we talk about, well, why wasn't a woman nominated for Best Director? Oh God, here we go. PC police want to force this every year. Want to say that you got to have quotas. You got to have a minority hire. That's how people hear that. That's how some people hear it, and some people take it. But the fact of the matter is that most people that I'd heard weren't complaining that no women were nominated. It's that when Greta Gerwig, who has a history of getting movies nominated and getting nominated for Best Director, puts a movie out called Little Women that got nominated for everything else. Where's she at?
It's the Rob Reiner defense. Like how could everything else get nominated but that?
It's totally different. But unfortunately, people take the specifics out, make it a generic thing, and then we're having the same argument that we always have with this. Oh man, these big ideological differences. No, it was a very specific question. She's been nominated before. She did it again. Everything about it got put up. Where's she at? That was the question. Where's she at? Where is Greta Gerwig versus... If you ask why wasn't Greta Gerwig nominated, it's not nearly as sensationalistic as no women, F you. So that's the one we go with because that gets us clicks and that gets us retweets and stuff like that makes me bananas.
That's what most people were saying.
Exactly.
That's the problem. It's like, you did say that. But I just when you look at just expand the categories. And,
I agree.
Just like not have a locked in stone. There can only be 5.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree, man. I don't
Yeah.
see why it's got to be this hard and fast number.
Yeah.
There's no problem with that. Let's just get more. I think that's cool.
Yeah. So and my other, to talk about the issues with the show, is you want to maybe having a host wasn't such a bad idea, and maybe if you're gonna have the hard 5 5 things must be nominated regardless whether they deserve it or not.
Seriously.
5 musical numbers.
Oh God.
Don't have this Eminem horse shit.
Oh God.
It's okay. First of all, this is dated. Has nothing to do with anything that's going on this year or last year or next year.
Next year.
Why is he here performing?
That's a great question. I'm not an Eminem guy to begin with, so it's just I had the exact same reaction. Like, why are we wasting time with this? This is ridiculous. And then, like you said, I was telling the man, I think it was 98, 99, somewhere in there. That was back in the day where they would just lump them all together. And everybody would basically rotate. It was kind of like the Frozen 2 thing, which was very cool. That was super cool. That was neat how they pulled that off.
I like that.
But back in the day, somebody would start on this part of the stage and they would sing about, I don't know, one verse and one chorus or one line leading to the chorus, and then it goes over to this side of the stage, and then you reset over here, and it just bounces off, and that's all you get is just this snippet of the song. And I think it was 1999. Elliott Smith rolls out in his little white suit and plays Miss Misery, and it was amazing. It was my favorite musical performance in Oscar history. And then I'm sure Randy Newman came out and sang something because, God, if somebody told me that Randy Newman and Meryl Streep were the same person, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
Because, man, if they wake up and take a shit, they get nominated for an Oscar. It's so annoying because
Gonna be a Toy Story movie.
Yeah, I'm not a Randy Newman fan. We had this discussion during the show. Neither one of us can quite figure out, musically, lyrically, vocally, why it's such a big deal. If it wasn't for Trey and Matt doing the Fatty Doo-Doo song, which is among the myriad of fantastic impressions they do, that one, I don't know if it's my favorite, but boy, it's in the running.
I guess he wrote I Love L.A. But where's the genius?
I don't get it. It's just not my thing.
Where's the people people look down on certain musicians that to me are like, how can you say anything bad about this guy? But this guy's like the genius. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I don't understand. But the point I was making about him and Meryl is with Randy Newman. I don't get it at all. Meryl Streep is like everybody else. Some of her stuff's really good.
Yeah.
Some of her stuff is not as good. So when you blow all of it up to be, oh my God, it's an Oscar-worthy performance. Oh my God, no, it's not. Not all of them are. Nobody has all of them, and it winds up tripping on the stuff that's really good. It's like, what's Meryl Streep's best ever performance? Nobody knows because everything she does gets nominated, and it's like, and I was telling Jared, I haven't seen Little Women yet, which I really want to, but my only frustration with that is I've been on a Downton Abbey kick going back through to try to not get ready for the movie. The movie's already out, but to prepare myself for watching the movie. And all I've seen, and it might not have anything to do with this, that's funny to watch the movie, but all I've seen from Meryl Streep from Little Women is just walking around making this face, and I'm like, okay, so you hung out and watched Maggie Smith on Downton Abbey, and you're trying to do your impersonation of Maggie Smith from Downton Abbey. Yeah. Don't do that. Meryl Streep's a very talented actress, but there are very few people on this planet that have ever gotten a paycheck for acting that are going to go toe-to-toe with Maggie Smith. I love you, Meryl, and you're fantastically talented, but you ain't in that category. It's just, Maggie Smith's different. Maggie Smith is it's different anyhow, and that might not be anything. I might just be conflating because of the period drama stuff, but that's what it made me think of. And ultimately, I'm just venting about something that just frustrates me. It's like, man, just because she woke up does not mean you have to give her a nomination, man. And also, especially now, because there are more people that you can nominate and more people that you can point out, more performances that you can lavish praise on than you've ever had before. Damn it. So let's stop nominating the same 5 people all the time.
And there's been past years where they would do like this arbitrary, well, a James Bond movie was put out this year, so we got to go through the whole James Bond litany. Like, oh God, again.
There's another song.
So there wasn't that part of the show, which helped, but still at the same time, it's like these musical numbers that I'm like have nothing to do with what's going on in the slightest, and because I guess I say that because I really expected this to be the Kirk Douglas show, like nothing but a retrospective of his career, and we didn't really get that.
Yeah, they got two things. I thought what they did was quite good.
Yeah.
I thought what Hanks did was quite good.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, he threw in a quick line at the end of his speech after the boring guy.
Yeah, we were talking about
Mr. Excitement.
Yeah, he was when Tom Hanks came out and told everybody that Planet Hollywood was reopening.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was announcing the museum of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, which I thought had to. It already existed. I guess you just assume, well, surely they've got one. Even if it's just a collection of props that the thousands of them that there are, I'm sure in that town, like, doesn't that count?
No,
already have this?
No admittance for the Puritan. Puritan.
But so that, and he was, and even during the memoriam, I got to thinking, well, technically he passed away this year. When do they cut it off? Like, are they seriously going to go through this and not acknowledge his passing? That was just, I know it was recent, but there's been enough time where you could, throw a photo in. But
everything being digital photos now, you're quick with that.
They opened up the Grammys with a tribute to Kobe Bryant, who died that afternoon.
Yeah, man.
Don't tell me you couldn't put him in this memoriam. No. We hit save on Avid. We're changing it.
The Oscars are done.
We gotta have this random rapper come out and just do God knows what.
God, that was awful, man. I was telling the man, this is a stupid thing to point out, but it's frustrating to me that we bring up Eminem, who I'm not a fan of. And one of the reasons I'm not an Eminem fan is simply this. I got to hear all the time about cultural appropriation, in particular in reference to Elvis Presley. Mm-hmm. But Eminem's okay? Yeah. I don't get it. I don't understand why if one of them bothers you, how come both of them don't bother you?
Yeah.
Well, Eminem, he respects the craft and the art. Boy, you don't know much about Elvis Presley, do you?
Yeah.
It's just that junk just makes me nuts. Mainly it's because I hate Eminem, and I just don't understand why everyone has to jump to their feet and celebrate this guy being the foremost white practitioner of a very, very, probably America's second most African American first, foremost, and only art. Jazz being number one, hip hop being number two. And then you get this Indian kid coming out and doing it too. It's like, okay, so as long as you are not somebody of the culture and the race that pioneered this, jump on the show and do it. And I'm like, this is ridiculous, man. You got Questlove, man. I know he knows a couple of people that if you gave them microphones would be real impressive. I'm sure he ain't lost Black Thought's phone number. Give him a call. Yes. It's a stupid thing to point out, but I'm just like, God, this sucks, man.
We gave an Oscar to 3 6 Mafia and Green Book, so we're good.
We're good. We're good. We can have as many white rappers on the show as we want. Yeah, we solved racism.
Huh?
We won. Huh?
Do huh?
Do what? What?
Oh,
Haven't done what in a while.
So, out and a guy who showed up, who I have no clue who he was, is doing his recap rap song that, first of all, it was Eminem has just barely gotten off stage, and we don't need a recap. We all sit and watch the show.
Yeah, man, we've been here.
Move it on.
We've been here. Yeah, man, especially like I was telling the man, and I felt bad. I was glad that they clapped to get the lights turned back on at the end once. But it's like, if you think they're doing this again, you're out of your mind. I understand you got 97 people on stage, but if you think you're each getting mic time, you're crazy. You are crazy.
And to the writer and director's credit, he's the one that didn't speak, from what I recall, when they won Best Picture. So he gave somebody else the floor because like I think he was already tying one on anyway. But yeah, I mean,
that was the impression I got too with his joke about, shoot, I was relaxing, y'all. What you got me coming back on stage for? It's like, nah, I'm already 3 sheets to the wind, baby. I'm celebrating.
Really think it's too dangerous for me to be up here right now.
Seriously, I navigated the. You can't believe the treacherous stairs that I just navigated for you people. You should be thrilled to see me.
So, I just think and people want to complain about it being a long show. It's like, man, just get on with it. So don't give me a recap when we're just an hour and a half into the show. It's already going to be.
If you're not even going to start, and this is mean to say, but it's true. God, who was it? They started swelling off the stage, man. There were a couple that the music started doing the playoff thing. I can't believe I don't remember, man. I really should, because there was one that was really, really obvious, and it was just kind of cruddy for them to do it. And then multiple times.
It really gets abused and taken advantage of when the lesser categories of like the animated shorts and this, that, and other thing.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because the way they did that this year was any of the movies that 2 people directed. Yeah, the first one gets to talk, and that was it. They cut away and they marched them off stage. They did that, but it seemed like, I don't think it was Joaquin, but it wasn't, because he got to finish. But it was one of the like bigger categories and like someone you've heard of and all that. I just can't remember who it was now, man. But the problem I've got again is like, y'all haven't fired up the orchestra pit for Renee. Damn, I mean, it's about time. Jeez, it's silly to be that way, but it's like, man, either give everybody their time or don't. But this sucks, man. Use your Janet Jackson delay. Why don't you run the Oscars on a 1-minute delay and get your genius editors up there with their freaking, choppy fingers, man. Knock it down. Get it done. You can do it.
And that, I don't know how long it took them to get to this point, but I remember hearing about the Academy Awards shows back in the day when, well, first of all, there wasn't as many categories as there are now anyway, but you knew who won before the show came on. And maybe, they'll never go back to that, but,
Well, it's strange, because we talked about it between Renee tonight and Michelle Williams at the Golden Globes, man. Mm-hmm. Some people either know they're going to win or damn sure believe they're going to, because boy, howdy, they got them ready to go, man.
And maybe it would question the integrity of the Academy, but maybe you could have the person, if you know who's going to win, let's test those acting skills and let them, and strictly enforce that. You got a minute and a half. Get it in. We're the trapdoor button is getting pushed.
Yeah, seriously, man. The main thing, it sucks to be this way, but I think this is a really cruddy thing to say, and it sucks, but it's true. Or in my opinion, it's true. Costume design, music, song.
Do that online.
Dude, you can have the awards. That's all fine and dandy. But acceptance speeches you do not need.
Yeah.
You don't need them. It's silly and it's ridiculous and you don't need it. And it sucks because, well, that's my moment. And that's the problem, is everyone takes it as their moment. And if you've got 19 categories, that's 19 moments. The crap adds up. And it wouldn't bother me, except, again, everyone always stresses, oh my God, we're so far behind, we're pushed for time, la-di-da. Then come up with a better situation. Come up with a better system.
The ceremony's recorded earlier.
You could do it. It would totally work, man. It's like, dude, come on now.
If you just gotta see it, subscribe to our service.
Oh, man.
Subscribe to OscarsAcademy.com.
Come on down. Oscars out who
So, well, I guess I could tell my story of going to the first ever New Japan show in beautiful downtown Atlanta at the Bowery. And it's just one of those kind of deals where I went not knowing what to expect, knowing as far as who was going to be there.
Yeah, man.
Didn't have a clue.
It's the best.
What to expect. But the funny part of the I guess I had heard rumors that Tanahashi was on the tour, and I was like, well, that sold me the day before, and so get down there and I kind of fiddle farted around the mall and stuff. Had some time to kill, so I was like, get over to the Battery, and I'm going to the Roxy. It's in a new part of town now. It's in a really nice facility. It's used to be in Buckhead. Now it's over at the Battery, and so you walk up, and I go, and I'm gonna plop down right in my seat, and I'm sitting like right behind the pillar. It's like, honest to God, even I could see the stage, see the entrance, and it was like you had to seriously lean to see any part of the ring, and you couldn't see all of it. So it's like, why in the world did they even sell the seat for a show that something's going on in the middle? And even if you were watching a concert, that pillar being there would be a bit of a distraction for what you're looking at over here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Is that with it being a new venue, like there's a video. The man posted a video on this here channel, and you can check it out, and he'll show you what he's talking about. And that's the first thing I thought.
Couldn't help but laugh.
This is a new building. Mm-hmm. I can't believe you designed it with the seat behind this thing, much less that you would sell this seat. It's ridiculous. It worked out good.
Yeah.
But I couldn't believe it. I'm like, that's insane.
As nice as the place is, it makes you seem like, this is some rinky-dink.
Yeah, how in the world? How did you figure this out? Seriously. And the Roxy was a good, like the old one anyway. Was quite the nice venue. Now I'm much happier with where it's at now. I'm too old to go to live shows, so I won't ever know. But it's cool that it's over there, because that's it's one of the neat things about that.
Super easy to get in and out of.
Yeah, it's one of the cool things about the new Brave Stadium, man. Is because we've discussed before, I'm not a huge fan of the new stadium. Mm-hmm. Well, I wasn't until I got spoiled and got insane. Hey, we're Lucky Mucks, so come in this door and eat this food, and then go to your seats that are basically on the bench. I mean, it's nuts. My buddy Danielle used to work for a place that they would get tickets, and it was nuts. But the main thing is exactly what you just said, man. Like the in and out at that stadium, they really did a good job, which is shocking considering where it's at, because none of us figured they could pull it off, and they really did, man. It's very nice. But so I'm glad that the Roxy's over there. But anyway, I got very sidetracked. But I'm totally with you. I just couldn't believe, like, dude, y'all done my man wrong. Turns out they fixed it, so I'm happy about that. But I was pissed when I started that video. Like, what were you thinking, man?
It's one of those kind of things you get there and you're kind of like, this can't be real.
The Omen.
But it's got a few minutes before the show, and I'm like, sit there for like a minute and a half, kind of actually thinking like, well, do I just kind of sit here and kind of hope that the people a few seats down don't show and I can just move down? Or do I go find the usher and talk to him? And about the second I had that notion, like, I've got to find somebody at least try to talk to him, be like, something must be done.
Something must be done.
And so, but you have the sides of the house where it's one of those kind of venues, just this, without even going to a show there, the second I saw there was a balcony, I was like, well, that's where I got to sit.
Oh, yes, sir.
That's where I got to sit. I've learned that lesson to where when you see the this block of seats gap, this block of seats, that gap, that's that pillar. That's what you need to stay away from.
That's what you avoid.
So my idea of thinking, man, anywhere that's what drew me to this seat. Like, oh man, a section with an aisle seat available.
That's the one.
That's me, brother.
Brother.
And,
good brethren.
So, but you have the sides that have my travesty seat, and you had the back that you could kind of tell for that very reason. And then there was no mention on the ticket or email or anything about any type of obstructed view.
Yeah. That's fine. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on down. I love it.
Yeah,
Roxy.
Yeah. Screw you. And on the back wall, there's the same deal. They're like 3 sections with, seats that the first 3 rows, for that very reason, were not sold. I'm assuming that may have just been poor attendance. I don't know. But you go find the lady and talk to her, and be like, I've got a problem with this seat over here. And I've never had to do this at all. It's the first time I've ever. They're probably gonna be like, go sit down, kid. Shut up. But like, I've got a problem with this seat. Is there anything I can do to try to get this changed? And the lady's like, well, what I have available as of right now are any seat in these 3 rows. And I'm like, looking at them like, these 3 rows right here? Like, yeah, that was like, that had, several aisle seats for me to choose from. Like, why didn't you say it in the first place?
Yeah, why weren't these on the website, man?
And they may have been, they may not, I don't know. But it seems like they were specifically left unsold for that reason. Like, well, y'all need to send a dude around to sit behind the pillars, just for next go round.
Yeah, so next time.
And it's just, so got to see the show and just had a really good time. Going in, I did hear through the grapevine that Kota Ibushi had gotten sick before the tour and couldn't make it. Then you're hearing stuff come across Facebook about a few nights before they were in Raleigh and Marty Skrull was there, and you're just kind of going into the show kind of thinking, who knows what's going to happen? So had a good time and dug it, and I think it's the best review that I can give any concert, Broadway show, movie is next time they're here, I'm there.
Yeah, man.
That's the best review I can give you. Is I'll definitely go back. And there were some other matches on the show. That there was a Lance Archer Jeff Cobb match that was fine enough. Just 2 big guys beating the piss out of each other. That I'm not as big on either one of those guys as some podcasts I listen to are. That's fine. That's what they're into. Then the main event is Juice Robinson and Dave Finlay, and I didn't realize this at the time, but it's Juice Robinson and Dave Finlay against the Gorillas of Destiny. I'm sitting there, I see the finish happen, and I'm like, did I just see this? And then I'm thinking, oh, okay, I get it. It wasn't for the belt. And then the Gorillas are on the corner posing with the belt. It was for the belt. Oh my God.
Yeah, when you see a belt change at a house show, it's unnerving.
Yeah.
It's unnerving. The single best match I've ever seen in my life, man, and it's legendary. Go Google it if you want to. Brian Pillman and Jushin Liger at the Omni, and I think it was Christmas Eve 1990, I think. It would have been 89, 90, 91, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. And first of all, they burnt that sucker to the ground, and secondly, Liger beat him for it. Mm-hmm. None of us, we could not believe it. Yeah. But I was telling the man, I was thrilled they booked a title change, because Atlanta does not always make the itinerary. Mm-hmm. But with Japan, I think as a culture in general, and then New Japan as a company specifically, they really do understand history, and they know their shit, and they know what Atlanta is. Yeah. So the idea of like going to Atlanta and booking, it had to be the tag matches, the tag belts too.
Going to Atlanta, we're doing a dusty finish.
Oh God! Well, they do plenty of them. God, but that's the whole thing. If the Gorillas weren't booked to go over, you damn sure would have got the dusty finish. But yeah, man, it's super exciting, and I love it because I'm like, man, I hope they like the venue, hope they had a good time, hope they make it part of the regular rotation. But I missed this show. I didn't miss it. I skipped it because I told the man. Twofold. One, I got to make decisions with like the money that I put into shows, and the tickets really weren't that bad. It's not like they were super expensive. It's just
man, it was very, very good from what I paid to go to other shows. I mean, this is great.
Yeah, man, it was actually like a human wrestling show. Like, okay, cool, because it's easy to get spoiled with those, because between doing the Ring of Honor stuff, doing the Crockett Cup, and then pricing the New Japan stuff, these are human tickets. WWE, they're way too expensive, and it's not that NXT tickets are too expensive. It's that NXT sells out very quickly, so
Yeah.
you're doing a second market on those. So that's where the cost. Yeah, that's what runs it up. Just to be fair to them, that's what makes those go up.
If you're not in on the pre-sale on those, and center stage, don't bother.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, if you're not, you have to get pre-sale if you're doing, if NXT is playing center stage, you got to go. But the Roxy is a fantastic alternative. That's great. The center stage is about that big.
Yeah.
So that's cool that they've got a place they can go now if they want to go there. I wish that AEW was smart enough to book that venue, but they weren't, and that's not surprising because they want to be Monday Night Raw. That's why I don't watch them even on Wednesday. But anyhow. But like Hawks tickets, I got to get Hawks tickets, man. So it was twofold, to be blunt. One is because I love the Hawks and I want to go watch them play, so I'm saving my ticket money for that. The second thing was right around the time of Wrestle Kingdom when they gave Jon Moxley, who, just so we're clear, I cannot stand. They gave him the U.S. title back, and I'm like, now I know he had an issue the first time he won it because, well, you work for AEW, you can't work for New Japan in America, and it's like, well, I'm assuming they got this figured out. Because why are you giving him your United States title if he can't ever defend it in the United States? I just didn't know if it was like one-loss records and with the new year it changed over, stuff like that. So my point was this. I did a pros and cons. It's like, who are the people that you think potentially could be on this show? The first two people I eliminated were Okada and Naito. Because there's absolutely no way that there's just no way. Naito's not doing house shows. That I wouldn't think so anyway. So I'm like, okay. Well, basically it was okay. If Jon Moxley's going to be at this show, which he was not, but it was the fear. Because that was my point, is like, who would have to be there to then make it okay for you that Moxley's there? And the people that make that list, it's not that none of them were there. Because Tanahashi would be amazing. And I particularly like him and Ricky and Robert doing their rock and roll thing. But because Tanahashi is... It's tricky, man. It's either him or Naito. I love both of them. Tanahashi is, man, that's hard. He probably is my favorite. Though. I don't know. It's hard to say out loud. Anyway, but that was the decision. Is like, if Moxley shows up, I'm going to be so disappointed, I will throw up. And so that was the other reason I skipped it, or it made it easier to put money into the Hawks, man. So I'm like, okay, sweet. This is what we will do. And I haven't got my Hawks tickets yet, but I'm going to.
The fun thing of going to a show like that I'm just not that familiar with it, and talk about it's kind of fun to go and hear a foreign language, and there's no subtitles, but you totally get everything that's going on.
Oh, absolutely.
And I never saw the guy, but I did know enough to know that there's a 20 count to get back in the ring. It's not 10, it's 20. And it's just kind of the performance and the urgency that builds past...
Well, she hit 12.
Past, yeah. It's
14. 14.
15.
15.
You hear me?
16. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It is so cool,
So
man.
I got to experience that for the first time.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, this is great.
man. That's awesome, dude.
You are listening.
Yeah, seriously, man. It's so funny. The difference between 12 and 13 is so
One.
noticeable.
2. Whatever, 3.
Whatever.
It's the way it builds.
I love it. I'm totally with you, man.
Why am I doing this for?
4. Take your time.
Hey. 6.
For real.
So that was my night of going to the the first time. It's that's just the best review I can give for it. Is I definitely would go back in a second. So that's kind of the best way I know to put it.
Anymore, my experience with live wrestling basically breaks down this way, and this includes WWE pay-per-views because those are fun. We've been to several, and WWE pay-per-views are a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I don't think there is a dollar figure that would get me to go to a Raw or SmackDown again, or a what is it show called? Whatever the AEW show is. Because if you go and it's matches, live wrestling is fun.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm going and someone's walking down the aisle and talking on the microphone and getting in the ring and talking on the microphone, I don't care nothing about that.
Mm-hmm.
The promos junk is so overrated in my opinion. I think even as a television show, it just looks so much better when it's pre-recorded stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It just does. It looks better.
Yeah.
Well, but it's supposed to be live. Yeah, so's SNL, but none of it is.
Mm-hmm.
And also, everyone, oh man, the digital shorts. You know what that means, don't you? Pre-recorded. And that's everybody's favorite crap.
Yep.
I hate it, man. But it's cool because when you go live and it's just, that's why house shows are so much more fun. We've talked about that before, man. WWE house shows, way more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because Vince isn't there and guys can actually come up with creative stuff. But yeah, man, it's like those are so much better. It's a house show or a pay-per-view. Don't go to anything in between.
Yeah.
But it's one thing I noticed from your pictures, man, made me very happy because it was like now we have like for our first New Japan show we have this in common, and it's that oh man, the Kojima Nagata tag team. We each got to see them, which was so cool. Seeing Satoshi Kojima in person was a big effing deal for me. I love that guy.
Yeah.
So that was cool because it's Koji, for God's sake, man.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I was just when that picture popped up, I'm like, oh, right on, that's great.
Yeah. It was tons of fun. I dug it.
That's awesome, dude. I don't know. I was gonna say I got to get out to a show, but I mean they're coming. The freaking AEW's coming, but I got.
It's coming up soon, like the 19th.
That's
So
something like that. I
I'm
guess.
not gonna be able to make it.
Oh, dude, I'm with you. There's no need for that.
Yeah.
I guess I was telling Jared earlier. Pretty much my thing with AEW now is I'm just keeping my ear to the ground, waiting for. Whenever they give Kenny the belt, I'll have to check it out because I love him as long as he's working. His promos, everybody's promos, I just hate. So it's no need for any of that. Yeah, if NXT played the Roxy, I would probably try and go to that. That would be fun, and I'm sure it would sell out quick. But it is a bigger venue than Center Stage because Center Stage is small it's small, man.
Yes, 2,000 at the most.
Man, it's
if that.
It's tiny, man.
And I heard, through the grapevine that they were disappointed with attendance on this tour. It was like, hey, just started, give it a chance. So we'll see.
Yeah, anymore the thing about like
I
attendance
never
numbers
know what to believe.
Oh, I don't believe I'm with you. I don't believe anything because it's like I don't like New Japan, so I'm gonna start this rumor. That's what people do. It's the same thing with AEW's going out of business. They're gonna kick them off the air by the end of May, and they get a 4-year fucking contract extension. It's like you're just making hogwash up.
Yeah.
You're making things up. And there are people that want to believe it, and they're the ones that kiss your butt for it.
Yeah.
Then there are people that it doesn't matter, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Pardon me. It doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. But as far as man, New Japan went to the Roxy and they didn't turn 2,000 people away. They're real disappointed. They're not Vince. They do not run their company like that. I promise you. They're not losing any money. It's fine. They're very smart, man. They understand that. They seem to understand that the wrestling business, like most others, is cyclical. You will have boom periods and you will have bust periods, but keeping your nut right here in the middle is what you want, and that's where you're at, baseline. Because that's the problem. Is, oh my God, Monday Night Raw had to cordon off like 4 sections. So what? You're in a basketball arena.
Yep.
It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine, man. But I don't think Vince sweats over that stuff at all. I just think it's like we talked about a minute ago. It's just people that want him to, putting that junk in his voice. And so people that want him to be upset love hearing that kind of stuff. He don't care. He don't care. Because the thing is, if Vince cares about something, you'll hear about it. Because your top 2 chief officers or your financial officers both get fired. And it's like, yeah, we know why.
Yep.
$1 billion one day. Yeah, you'll hear about it. If Vince really gives a damn, you're going to find out when people get fired. I don't recall anybody getting fired over Raw house show attendance. Oh, Eric Bischoff. That's not what Bischoff got fired for, man. Oh, man.
No, that was a Fox move. Like, now we know a hack when we see one, and it's isn't going to work out.
I thought so, too. I thought that was the same thing. Is because that was what it was right there with. It's like, no. We work in the shysterious business this side of Washington, D.C. This guy, this is not happening. Hit the road.
No thanks.
Yeah, seriously. Which it can't happen to a better guy because I think Bischoff is just a human turd. Bischoff really should be in politics. He'd fit right in, man.
Yep.
If Eric Bischoff and Jason Hervey were Pete Buttigieg's team, I would believe that. And yeah, just the one snippet of politics I'll throw out there, which you might have probably put together from other shows, man, is I think Pete Buttigieg is a walking, talking pile of pig shit. He is just so fake and so ridiculous. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be kidding me, man. Pete Buttigieg is somehow a worse candidate for the Democratic nomination than Joe Biden. And boy howdy, if you're worse than Joe Biden, man, you have really accomplished something. It is hard to be.
My God.
It is hard to be, seriously, man. I can't tell. Well, I could, I guess, because I'm all cursing. Because, no, don't demonetize this. This is a kid's video. Buy toys and say fart.
You with me? I guess if you're looking for a good listen, it's not his last podcast. It's the podcast before the one that came out this past weekend. But go listen to Donnell Rawlins take Ari Shaffir to task for his comments about Kobe. And that's the long and short of it. And the reason why you need to listen to him say it, because it doesn't mean much coming from me, not being a comedian, but he just kind of laid it out fine and simple. Like, you go on Twitter and you say this stuff, and you run and hide behind saying, well, I'm a comedian, this is what I do. It's like, there ain't nothing funny about it. You're a comedian, you're supposed to be funny. What's funny about anything you said? So, if you want to hear more, then go listen to Donnell say it, because he says it a lot better than I could.
On the subject of Kobe tributes, I've got one planned. I haven't done it yet, because I can't do it yet. But I noticed that ESPN's tribute was to play the 81. I don't think they did. Pardon me. I'm sorry. I don't think they did 81. I think they did his last game. I think that's the one they replayed. And they did it a couple of times, and that's cool. And what I was thinking was, hey, man, that's cool. That's a good tribute. That's cool. But what surprised me was that they went with that instead of doing work, because that's theirs. Spike Lee made it. They co-produced it. As far as I know, they own it. So it surprised me a little they weren't doing that. And then it occurred to me that the reason that I haven't watched Doing Work again yet might be the reason they didn't run it. And y'all, man, if you watch the show, y'all know I despise ESPN, trash them every chance I get, but that is not what's going on here. This is the total opposite. Because what happens, there's a very particular thing in that movie. Gianna's in that movie. Now, she's about this big. She's tiny as a, hiccup. She's little. She's a little kid. And I'm like, you know what? That might be why they decided not to run that, because I don't want to watch it because I think it would hurt. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know if it's why they did it, but I'm going to assume it is. And good on y'all, man. Because again, you can run his last game. That's a great tribute and makes people happy, and it's all good. And Doing Work is a fantastic movie, but I just thought when it occurred to me that might be what they're doing. I'm like, well, man, that's good on y'all. That's a good decision, man. I think that's pretty great. So if that's what you did, ESPN, good on you. And if not, that's okay too, because your tribute was just fine. But if so, good for y'all. Good on y'all.
Another good tribute that wasn't. I don't think it was even intended on being a tribute to necessarily about him passing away, but he's just like Bill Burr, because everybody was waiting to hear his take on it, because he's known for flying helicopters. And he got on his show. He's like, guys, I don't know what y'all can say. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But I've got a daughter. And I'm paraphrasing, not saying exactly what he said. Go listen to this show. It said a lot better. But you can get that look from your daughter at 3 and 4. But if you get that look from a daughter at 13, you did something right. And so I say that to say that Gayle King deserves every bit of shit that she is getting and will get for just bringing up, the stuff that she brought up in an interview with, I want to say it was Cheryl Swoops, that she sat down and talked with. And even Cheryl stopped short of saying, like, why are you even talking about this? But she just was real cool, calm, and collected, like, I just think we need to leave it at that. This stuff got settled in court. It wasn't what the girl said it was. You don't go up to somebody, I'm not going to get into it. you don't go up to somebody's hotel room and it's not consensual, and it's not. You know what's going to happen if you go up to somebody's hotel room. Well, that doesn't make it necessarily consensual, but it wasn't what old girl said it was. It was decided we need to leave it at that. Gail, it wasn't good enough for Gail. She kept on and kept on. What was dismissed because she didn't testify. I was like, I think that's pretty telling. But anyway, I said too much. I wasn't going to get into all that. But anyway.
Yeah, somebody's got to be the one to bring it up, and as they all do,
Mm-hmm.
leave out the point that here's what you know Kobe did.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe ran around on his wife, the same wife that he's still married to.
Mm-hmm.
So if Kobe and Vanessa worked that mess out, and they're raising the kids together, what the hell business is it of yours? Well, because somebody wants to be the believe women voice, and you picked the wrong subject to do this on, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did. Because if you don't have enough respect for Vanessa Bryant and the decision that she made out of that situation, well, that's on you. But there's a lot of people that do, and you're gonna wind up, you're gonna make them mad. You're gonna tick those people off. So it's like, just be careful bringing this stuff up, man. Because, and the other thing that just drives me nuts about that entire thing is, on the subject of saying too much, it has always been my opinion. Like I said a moment ago, Kobe had an affair outside of marriage, and that sucks. But that's between him and his wife. And if she decides it don't suck enough to end it, that's her call. I don't care what they had worked out. What I do know they had worked out was, man, look at these kids we got. We're going to raise them, and they did a pretty damn good job. You've never heard, and this is the other thing that drives me nuts about, well, Kobe raped that girl. Kobe raped that girl. You do anything, any slightest bit of research into the psychology of rape, you don't do it once and stop.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. A lot of people, and I'll be blunt, I'm one of them, think that this girl was running around with Kobe, thought she was going to be the new Vanessa, and then found out that wasn't the case, and decided to take her story to the police.
Yeah.
And because his name is Kobe Bean Bryant and he's famous as shit, cops got involved. Then you get lawyers involved, and that sucks because one way or the other, either your law team couldn't prove your case because it wasn't provable because you made it up, or he can afford better lawyers. Not sure which way that went, but my ultimate thing is just the lack of respect for, if him and Vanessa worked something out, they worked it out.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all need to, and mainly that's the point, like Bill bringing up the daughter is a good idea. Look at their kids, man. Look at the way they raised their kids. Y'all need to back the hell off. If you wanted Kobe and Vanessa, if you think Vanessa should have busted them up because of being the wronged woman, I think you picked the wrong lane, because they obviously did a fantastic job with those kids, and their marriage was a happy one. If Kobe effed up and she's like, okay, you get this one pass, that's her call. That is her call, man. So
It got said best in a story. I didn't hear it directly from Roger, but it was said in his voice, and I could almost hear him saying it. It came from another show that I was listening to, where he's basically Roger Daltrey sits his wife down. He's like, I'm the lead singer of the effing Who. There's going to be other women. If you have a problem with that, tell me. If not, we're going to be just fine, ain't we? But that's just, to me, that's just par for the course of any man or woman in that position. I just expect there to be more than one rendezvous, and it just does not shock me the way it tends to some people.
The way people want to parlay fame into sex, especially dudes, that's the way it is. And if you've got an understanding, that's fantastic. Personally, my favorite, we talk about it all the time, my favorite is LeBron James, because you ain't never heard nothing about him. LeBron's too good to be true, man. People hate him because he's just too good to be true. But I appreciate Jeter and Clooney. Clooney waited till okay, I'm done with that stuff. Now I'd like to have a wife. Derek Jeter is like, and why not? Why not? That's much, much better to do that and be you and do that. It's just way better that way. But my other favorite version of the way that story can go is and this is me because I typically, athletically, I like this guy. Personally, I think he's pretty scummy. But you go to Stanford on a golf scholarship, and you're the best amateur player anyone's seen in years, and la-di-da, and you find you this beautiful girl on the Stanford campus, and oh man, we're in love, we're young students in love, it's all good, and then you grow up, and it's like, well, my dad was a sex addict, so I'm one too, but unfortunately, that trophy girl that you picked out on Stanford's campus, she was there getting a law degree. So, she finds out, whoops you half to death.
Yeah.
And then gets all your money. That's my favorite story ever, because if you're that stupid, if you are that stupid, well, I'm going to find myself a trophy wife and I'm rich so I can get away with it. Don't pick a Stanford lawyer. I don't care how cute she is. You fucking moron.
That move.
As dude, the Tiger Woods story, it just thrills me and it sucks, but apparently he's just such a scuzzy guy. And it's all like, why did you get married? If you want to run around with every,
don't do it.
if you want to run around with every rat on planet Earth, you can do it, but don't have a wife at home.
Yep.
Don't have a wife at home, which is probably incredibly contradictory from what I just said about Kobe. But again, you have this one story about Kobe. You don't have this like serial philanderer thing going on, so that's a little bit different. And again, I guess the difference for me is this: Kobe and Vanessa clearly worked their stuff out. Woods and Elle, I guess they didn't. So it's like, okay then.
I thought we had an understanding that we didn't have.
That's my I guess my thing is this: if you run around on your wife, I think it's fair. I think it's appropriate. I think it's accurate, and I think it's the right way. You let her make that call. If you've made the mistake, however your woman wants to respond, I'm on her side. Vanessa decided to let Kobe off the hook, so I'm okay with that. Elle decided to take a driver upside Eldrick's head, and I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with that too. I guess that's it, man.
If you need to get some swings in, just try not to get the face. Oh, you did!
Oh, the face! Oh, not my face! Oh, my face again!
I'm hideous.
Look away, I'm hideous.
I'm going into hiding. Just how that played out.
That was it, seriously.
Man, that's what's up.
That is what's
Everything
up.
I've been doing.
Yeah, man, shoot, dude, I ain't been up to much of nothing except dog sitting and getting caught up on gemstones and vice principals, and then I've got the Netflix turned back on, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, man, I haven't really hit too many things on it. I did watch, there's a movie on there called Paris Is Us, that as long as subtitles don't bother you. Well, you know what? Actually, even if subtitles do bother you, don't worry about it. As if you want to watch it with the English dub, it's excellent. So, no problem. Paris Is Us. If it sounds like, you read the description, sounds like something you want to watch, check it out, because it's great. And then I went back. I'm excited that Russian Doll's getting the second season. Looking forward to that. But I wasn't feeling watching that. What I did was then bounce down and found other things I'd already seen that I wanted to watch again. One of them being Maniac. And I rewatched Maniac, and it's fantastic, and I love it. And I don't think that one's going to get a second season. As a matter of fact, I hope it doesn't, because it's just a really good 6-hour movie. So I'm good with that one being over. But that's the one that's Emma Stone and God, why do I keep for Jonah Hill? That gummit, I always want to call him Seth Rogen, and it's not because I think he's Seth Rogen. It's because he was Seth in Superbad. Yeah. And it messes me up, and I always get messed up. But on the subject of Superbad, I hate to admit to y'all that I got 3 episodes into my second viewing of Maniac before it occurred to me that it's a cast reunion of Superbad. I'm like, oh yeah, Emma Stone, Jonah Hill, yeah, they've been in stuff together. I felt real dumb.
The band's back together.
Yeah, dude, I didn't think about it at all the first time, and then I'm like, how in the world you not thinking of the first time?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it, man. Netflix, and I'm not doing Fire Pro so much these days. I've gotten back on I play this. There's this old game called Winning 11-9 for PlayStation 2, and I love it because you can customize everything. Because there are perks to buying video games that don't have licenses on them, like Fire Pro. There's the real people are not on there. You have to rename everyone, and then they give you 500 create spots. A lot of the teams on Winning 11 are the same way. Spain and Spain, Italy, the Netherlands, they're really on there. But all the other leagues, you edit the names, you edit the players. Oh, boy, I love it. It's so awesome. So that's what I've been spending my time doing. It sounds ridiculous, and it is ridiculous, but I love it, so I'm good with it.
That's cool.
And that's it. It's cool, man.
That's what's up.
Indubitably, man. Take it easy,
Yeah,
y'all.
cool. We are Spartacus.